Hey guys, this is going to be an advanced baritone ukulele tutorial, or I kind of prefer the term walkthrough, of the song Georgia on My Mind. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. I posted a cover of this song a few weeks ago and I promised I would do a tutorial. Eventually, I would love to do a simplified arrangement of this song that's more accessible to more people, but for right now, I'm just going to walk you through how I play the song, and no matter what your skill level is, I hope you can gain something from this video. So I got my chord chart for this song from the Vocal Reel book, and if you're interested in learning to play standards on baritone ukulele, I cannot recommend this book enough. Each volume has hundreds of songs to choose from, and it's been an invaluable resource for me as I learn this music. And no, I'm not getting paid to say that, but Hal Leonard, hit me up. The first chord we're going to play is a C major 7. That's our one chord because we're in the key of C. I'll just point out that anytime my middle finger isn't needed elsewhere, I use it to strengthen my bar. So you could bar with just your pointer finger, but out of habit, I add my middle finger for strength. Next up, we have a B minor 7 flat 5. So I bar with my pointer, middle finger is playing the G string, pinky is playing the E string. Next up is an E7. So this isn't even really a bar chord, it just uses all 4 fingers. This is a shape I use all the time, so if you take nothing else away from this video, I would recommend practicing this shape. You can play it here as an E7. You can move to the 3rd fret to make it an F7. Up here it's a G7. You get the idea. So next up we're playing an A minor. So again I'm going to bar the 5th fret and use my ring finger to play the 7th fret of the D string. And next up is an A minor over G. Well, luckily all I have to do is take away my ring finger and we get that G on the bottom string. If you're super familiar with baritone ukulele, you might notice that this is also how we would play a C6 chord. The next chord is a D over F sharp. A lot of times when I see a slash chord in an arrangement, I just ignore it because our options are limited or I prefer a different voicing. But in this case, we have a perfectly good D over F sharp available to us. So right here, you'll notice that it's just our C chord barred 2 frets higher. And our lowest string is playing the note F sharp, so it's a D over F sharp. From there we go to an F minor 6, which I play right here. This shape is very much related to how I would play an F minor 7, which would be that. But instead of having to collapse your middle finger to cover the B and E strings, you can just use the middle finger on the E string, and that's an F minor 6. Fun observation, as we went from our A minor to A minor over G, to D over F sharp, to F minor 6, we've gotten a nice walk down in the bass. For us, it's really just the D string, but it's still a really nice, satisfying sound to hear that walk down of A, down to G, down to F sharp, down to F. So next up, we're going to go back to our C major 7. The next chord is an A7, which I'll play here. That's honestly not my favorite voicing of an A7, but in context, it makes the most sense to me to go from this to this and just maintain that bar the whole time. But you could also come up here and use that E7 shape we used up at the 7th fret, making it an A7. Next up, we have a D minor 7 and a G7. If you're one of my Patreon patrons, you might recognize these shapes from the 2-5-1s practice patterns handout that I shared recently. Either way, these shapes go together all the time, all over the neck, and I strongly recommend practicing them as a pair. Next up, we have an E minor 7 and an A7 flat 9. This is another shape that is technically not a bar chord, even though it's challenging, but I find it to be incredibly versatile and useful. Not only can we use this shape for our 7 flat 9 chords, it's technically a diminished 7 chord, so it repeats itself every 3 frets. So this chord is the same as this chord, is the same as this chord, is the same as this chord. So this is a versatile shape I would definitely recommend getting in your hands. Next up, we're back to a D minor 7. And instead of playing a regular G7, which would be right there, the lead sheet calls for a G7 sharp 5, or a G7 augmented. I play that right here at the 3rd fret, so it's just like a G7 where I'm adding that sharp 5 with my ring finger on the B string. So that's our first A section, and here's how it sounds all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the next section of the song repeats most of that material. So we're gonna play Georgia, Georgia, a song of you comes as sweet and clear as moonlight through the pines. Okay, so this is where it changes. This next section is fun because we're actually gonna play 2 chord shapes we used earlier in the song, but now they're gonna be called different things because of context. So we play a C6, which we played earlier, but in context, it was an A minor or A minor 7 over G. Then we're going to jump to a B flat 9, which you'll notice is the same as an F minor 6. You could also substitute a plain old B flat 7 right here, but I'm adding the 9 by putting my ring finger on the 5th fret of the G string. So it just depends on which sound you prefer. Then we bounce back up to our C6. The next section of the song starts on an A minor, but first we're going to do a minor 2-5 to tonicize A minor. The minor 2-5 here is B minor 7 flat 5 to E7 flat 9, and then we'll land on A minor. So we've already seen B minor 7 flat 5, and the E7 flat 9 is just going to be our E7, but we're going to bring the root up 1/2 step. So play those 2 chords back to back. E7, E7 flat 9. You can hear how it's mostly the same chord, but with a little added tension. So we'll go B minor 7 flat 5, E7 flat 9, A minor. So here we are at A minor, and the next chord is a D minor 6. You could play D minor 6 right here. So I'm using my middle finger to bar the D and G strings, pointer on the B string, ring on the E string. This is a shape that's really challenging for me, so I'm actually going to gravitate to a different voicing. This different voicing happens to be the same shape that we've been using for B minor 7 flat 5. So right here, we've got the same notes in a different order. And I happen to like this sound in context, so I'm going to use this shape. So it goes, other arms reach out to me. This is an F7, and you're already familiar with this chord shape because of our E7 earlier in the song. Then it repeats the A minor to D minor 6. Next up we have an A minor 7. So I'm actually going to move that all the way up here. Again, we've seen this shape before, but we played it down here for E minor 7. Well, now we're going to move all the way up till our pointer is on the 7th fret, and it's an A minor 7. This shape moves beautifully into the next chord, which is a D7. So I'm just barring across the 7th fret, and then my middle finger plays the 8th fret of the E string. You could also bar with your pointer, back it up with the middle finger, and use your ring on the E string. Or I even have a student who plays this shape just with all 4 fingers, which is totally an option. Next up, we have another really neat walk down. We're going to start with A minor, which we should be very familiar with at this point, leading into an A minor over G sharp. So there are 2 ways we can do this. One is to maintain the bar at the 5th fret, and then use your middle or ring finger to play the 6th fret of the D string. So we've been playing 7th fret of the D string, and then you're just going to slide that down 1 fret, or use your middle finger, and we get that walk down from A to G sharp. I like to approach this chord by moving 1 fret down on both the D string and the E string. So that becomes 6th fret, 5th fret, 5th fret, 4th fret. So now the bottom and top strings are playing a G sharp. However, I'm using my middle finger collapsed over the middle 2 strings, and that could be super challenging for some folks. So the other version totally works. After that, we go to our A minor over G, which we're already familiar with, and then we're gonna see another minor 2-5-1. The chords are F sharp minor 7 flat 5 to a B7 flat 9 to an E minor 7. These chord shapes are played together so often that it's basically second nature to me now. So even though I'm saying a lot of letters and numbers, my brain and my hands already know these shapes very well. So here are the shapes. F sharp minor 7 flat 5, B7 flat 9, E minor 7. I'm really used to barring for this chord, but you can absolutely just play it with all 4 fingers. And from there, we play our B7 flat 9, which is the same shape we used for A7 flat 9 before, just at a different spot on the neck. Then we go to an E minor 7, which we already know well, and the A7 flat 9, which we already know well, and finish out the section with D minor 7 to G7. So here's the bridge all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Other arms reach out to me. Other eyes smile tenderly. Still in peaceful dreams, I see the road leads back to you. Because this is an AABA song form, the rest of the song is a lot of material we've played before. Georgia, Georgia, no peace I find, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind, on my mind. So that's the whole song, and if you've watched this long, I think you deserve a gold medal. I'm gonna go ahead and play through the whole song with chord diagrams on screen, and I would love for you to follow along. 1, 2, 3, 4. Georgia, Georgia, the whole day through, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind. Georgia on my mind. Georgia, Georgia, a song of you Georgia, Georgia. No peace I find, just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind, on my mind. Thank you guys so much for watching. Just an old sweet song keeps Georgia on my mind.